ṣífù lélẹ́yìí ṣífù wọ́n dẹ̀ ní wọ́n náà ta yín jáde láyé lórí Facebook kí lẹ ẹ̀ ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ni.
èmi jẹ́ ń lo jíjẹ lọ́wọ́ ni.
níjọ́ Friday ṣẹ́rí time ṣẹ́rí date ní Friday 10th January
2025.
ok.
mo ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀bà lọ́wọ́.
ẹ ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ àtẹ̀bà. ṣé pé orúkọ yín kàn ń tajà báyìí nísìnyí bàbá mi.
ó ga jù bàbá.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ kẹ́ máa jẹun lọ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀ ara bàbá le dáadáa kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe bàbá.
ó kó larọ tá le.
àdúpẹ́ fún.
ọmọ ara nílẹ̀ wọ́n gbé jábọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ó dà. ṣífù lélẹ́yìí ṣífù wọ́n dẹ̀ ní wọ́n náà ta yín jáde láyé lórí Facebook kí lẹ ẹ̀ ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ni.
èmi jẹ́ ń lo jíjẹ lọ́wọ́ ni.
níjọ́ Friday ṣẹ́rí time ṣẹ́rí date ní Friday 10th January
2025.
ok.
mo ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀bà lọ́wọ́.
ẹ ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ àtẹ̀bà. ṣé pé orúkọ yín kàn ń tajà báyìí nísìnyí bàbá mi.
ó ga jù bàbá.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ kẹ́ máa jẹun lọ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀ ara bàbá le dáadáa kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe bàbá.
ó kó larọ tá le.
àdúpẹ́ fún.
ọmọ ara nílẹ̀ wọ́n gbé jábọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ó dà. ṣífù lélẹ́yìí ṣífù wọ́n dẹ̀ ní wọ́n náà ta yín jáde láyé lórí Facebook kí lẹ ẹ̀ ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ni.
èmi jẹ́ ń lo jíjẹ lọ́wọ́ ni.
níjọ́ Friday ṣẹ́rí time ṣẹ́rí date ní Friday 10th January
2025.
ok.
mo ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀bà lọ́wọ́.
ẹ ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ àtẹ̀bà. ṣé pé orúkọ yín kàn ń tajà báyìí nísìnyí bàbá mi.
ó ga jù bàbá.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ kẹ́ máa jẹun lọ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀ ara bàbá le dáadáa kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe bàbá.
ó kó larọ tá le.
àdúpẹ́ fún.
ọmọ ara nílẹ̀ wọ́n gbé jábọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ó dà. ṣífù lélẹ́yìí ṣífù wọ́n dẹ̀ ní wọ́n náà ta yín jáde láyé lórí Facebook kí lẹ ẹ̀ ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ni.
èmi jẹ́ ń lo jíjẹ lọ́wọ́ ni.
níjọ́ Friday ṣẹ́rí time ṣẹ́rí date ní Friday 10th January
2025.
ok.
mo ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀bà lọ́wọ́.
ẹ ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ àtẹ̀bà. ṣé pé orúkọ yín kàn ń tajà báyìí nísìnyí bàbá mi.
ó ga jù bàbá.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ kẹ́ máa jẹun lọ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀ ara bàbá le dáadáa kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe bàbá.
ó kó larọ tá le.
àdúpẹ́ fún.
ọmọ ara nílẹ̀ wọ́n gbé jábọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ó dà. ṣífù lélẹ́yìí ṣífù wọ́n dẹ̀ ní wọ́n náà ta yín jáde láyé lórí Facebook kí lẹ ẹ̀ ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ni.
èmi jẹ́ ń lo jíjẹ lọ́wọ́ ni.
níjọ́ Friday ṣẹ́rí time ṣẹ́rí date ní Friday 10th January
2025.
ok.
mo ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀bà lọ́wọ́.
ẹ ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ àtẹ̀bà. ṣé pé orúkọ yín kàn ń tajà báyìí nísìnyí bàbá mi.
ó ga jù bàbá.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ kẹ́ máa jẹun lọ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀ ara bàbá le dáadáa kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe bàbá.
ó kó larọ tá le.
àdúpẹ́ fún.
ọmọ ara nílẹ̀ wọ́n gbé jábọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ó dà. ṣífù lélẹ́yìí ṣífù wọ́n dẹ̀ ní wọ́n náà ta yín jáde láyé lórí Facebook. Kí lẹ ẹ̀ ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ni?
Èmi jẹ́ ń lo jíjẹ lọ́wọ́ ni.
Níjọ́ Friday ṣẹ́rí time ṣẹ́rí date ní Friday 10th January
2025.
Ok.
Mo ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀bà lọ́wọ́.
Ẹ ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ àtẹ̀bà. Ṣé pé orúkọ yín kàn ń tajà báyìí nísìnyí bàbá mi?
Ó ga jù bàbá.
Ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ kẹ́.
Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn sálára àgbà yìí dá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But they move closer before they go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, ìníhùn ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó lórí kodò bí àdán apẹ̀tẹ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè gbódúdú àga.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wa.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣègìrì, ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀, àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Pé ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó gbójú ògbó tí wàá máa ní.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wá kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó gbójú ògbó tí wàá máa ní.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó gbójú ògbó tí wàá máa ní.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó gbójú ògbó tí wàá máa ní.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀mí ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀mí, ṣẹ́yìn lọ máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé mádémádé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ gbájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ, àjòjì tó bá wọ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé, ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ, jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjàfẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you work closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o, tó ń kan gíoko lára ni.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ni bàbá o.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹ gbé polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Odùduwà la gbé dání, òtítọ́ la gbé dání.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sódì kẹta.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
A dúró tán, a tún pèrègede.
Koikimedia, àwọn ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, we bring you work closer to your doorstep.
Àwọn ni bàbá.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us latest.
Is around o.
Give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó pójú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó pójú gbogbo.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us latest.
Koiki
ṣífù lélẹ́yìí ṣífù wọ́n dẹ̀ ní wọ́n náà ta yín jáde láyé lórí Facebook.
olórí burúkú
kí lẹ ẹ̀ ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ni
èmi tẹ̀ ń lo jíjẹ lọ́wọ́ ni.
níjọ́ Friday ṣẹ́rí time ṣẹ́rí date èní Friday 10th
Friday
January
2025.
ok
mo ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀bà lọ́wọ́.
ẹ ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ àtẹ̀bà
ọlọ́wọ́
ṣé pé orúkọ yín kàn ń tajà báyìí nísìnyí bàbá mi.
ọ ga jù bàbá.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ kẹ́ máa jẹun lọ ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀ ara bàbá le dáadáa kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe bàbá.
ó kó larọ tá le.
àdúpẹ́ fún.
ọmọ ara nílẹ̀ ó ń gbé jábọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí.
ó dà ẹja fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá ó dà. mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri ibi tí ẹ bá ti ń gbóhùn mi Ọláyọmí Kóìkì agbẹnusọ fún bàbá wa Dr. Chief Sunday ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho Òòṣà. èyí á máa jẹ́ ọjọ́ 10 nínú oṣù àkọ́kọ́ ọdún 2025 10th of January 2025. Quite a lot of development happening. But ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ mú ní látọ̀dọ̀ rumor tó jáde ní bí less than 2 hours ago pé ọ̀tá àwọn ọ̀tá wa tó máa kú látara àwọn tó ń pètò ikú fún ara wọn tó kì í ṣàwa. Mo fẹ́ fi dá gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ní ọkàn àti pé kò sí cause for alarm. Olóyè Ìgbòho ó wà pẹ̀lú àwọn mẹ̀lẹ́bí ẹ̀ ní Germany gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwòrán tí a jọ wò tán nísìn tó ń lo ẹ̀bà pẹ̀lú ọbẹ̀ ẹ̀fọ́ tó dáa láti ọ̀dọ̀ wọn ní Germany gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti ṣe rí ẹ̀rí nínú fídíò. Àmọ́ bí tí eléyìí ti jẹyọ, but n tá mọ̀ ni pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ọ̀tá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n ń lo oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà láti fi kó ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì sí àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá lára, torí kò sẹ́ni tó máa gbọ́ irú ìtọ́ fi síta yẹn tí wọn ò ní wà panic àti pé àwọn wo gan ló wà behind ẹ̀ àti irú àwọn èèyàn wo ni, kí ni agenda àti pé kí ni nǹkan tó fẹ́ mú jáde látara pé kó máa ro ikú sí olóyè Ìgbòho tí ikú kan ọ̀dẹ̀ tí pa nísìn tó máa dàgbà tó máa dògbó tó máa ṣe bàbá àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ kalẹ̀ àti àwọn ìyàwó rẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń sọrú nǹkan báyìí, àwa mọ̀ pé àwọn ọ̀tá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni, bóyá Ìgbò ni, Haúsá ni, Fúlàní ni, Yorùbá ni, gbogbo èèyàn tó bá jẹ́ tó wà behind information tó gbé jáde yìí, a fà wọ́n lé Ọlọ́run lọ́wọ́, torí pé Ọlọ́run ni ọba ìdájọ́, àfi tó bá jẹ́ pé n tí olóyè ń jà fún ara ẹ̀ ló ń jà fún ni. Mo wá jáde lálẹ́ yìí fún ètò míì tí bàbá wa Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè rán mi láti kéde fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Ìyẹn la fi wá ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀, a dẹ̀ máa parí yẹn náà lálẹ́ yìí. Kò sẹ́nì kankan tó máa kó ìrẹ̀wẹ̀sì sí wa lára, kò dẹ̀ sẹ́nì kankan tó máa fa ìrìn àjò Yorùbá nation sẹ́yìn. Mo tún sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé olóyè Ìgbòho ó wà ní Germany, kò sí ní hospital, kò sí nílé ìwòsàn, kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe. Òun lẹ̀ ń rí yẹn. Nígbà tí mo bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀, a ti sọ̀rọ̀ kó ń ṣe ẹ̀mẹ́ta àbẹ́mẹ́rin lénìí kó tó di pé rúmọ̀ yẹn jáde tí olóyè wá pè mí pé ṣé mo ti rí ní tí wọ́n tún ń fẹ́ káàkiri. Gbọ́dọ̀ mi ò rí, torí pé kódà bàbá gan máa ń rìn kan ju èmi gan lọ nípa in tó ń lọ ní gbogbo orí social media àti news tó ń lọ ní gbogbo àgbáyé. Bí a ṣe ń wo ohun tó ń lọ ní LA pẹ̀lú iná tó ń jó, àwọn ohun tó ń lọ ní Ghana, àwọn ohun tó ń lọ ní Asia, kò síbi tí bàbá ò kí ń gbọ́ news ibi tó ń lọ lágbàáyé. Ó dẹ̀ ń wo ohun tó ń lọ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, èyí tó jẹ́ ní ọkàn. Ló wá sọ fún mi pé àwọn information kan jáde tí àwọn máa fi ránṣẹ́ sí mi. Nígbà tí mo wo information yẹn, mo ní àwọn wo ló ṣe irú nǹkan báyìí. Ìyẹn wá jẹ́ ẹni tí a mọ̀ pé dájúdájú àwọn ọ̀tá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ni. Àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ́ kí ẹni tí olóyè fẹ́ ṣe kó má bàa rí ṣe. A ti gbọ́ nígbà tí a pe fídíò call, ká tún wò bóyá ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yin tí à ń sọ fún pé nǹkan kan ò ṣe bàbá wa olóyè Ìgbòho. Olóyè kọ́ máa kí wa ní a wà lórí live, ẹ kọ̀ kí wa, a wà lórí live, ẹ má sọ nǹkan kan ju pé kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kí wa. Kí lago lọ́dọ̀ yín, torí ẹni sùúrù, torí pé mo mọ̀ pé aago wa yàtọ̀ síra wa. Ní Germany kí lago sọ lọ́dọ̀ yín lọ́hùn.
A wà ní 19 after 10.
After 10, àwa wà ní 19 after 9.
Ọjọ́ kẹwàá oṣù kìíní, ọjọ́ Jímọ̀ ọdún 1925. Àbẹ̀ 2025, sorry.
Okay. Ọ̀dà.
Ọdún 2025. 10/1/2025.
Ọ̀dà. Ara bàbá kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe yín.
Ó kó lára ọ̀tá ni wọ́n sì lú ẹ̀ bàbá àtẹ̀kọ́ ni mò ń lò lẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́lẹ́ pẹ̀lú yẹn.
Mo rí bẹ́ẹ̀, mo rí bẹ́ẹ̀.
Nígbà wọn á lò tán, wọn á jókòó ti Aston Villa, àwọn àti West Ham tó ń bára wọn wí.
Kí lẹ náà ń wo géèmù kan lọ́wọ́, àwọn ló ń play.
Mo jókòó ti Aston Villa pẹ̀lú West Ham tó ń nara wọn lọ́wọ́. West Ham ti ní kan lọ́wọ́, àwọn mú kan sápò.
Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí Man U tún win ní ìta máa gbá o.
Àmì àgbọ̀dọ̀ na Arsenal mọ́lé ní ọjọ́ Sunday láti Ọlọ́run.
Torí ìta gbá pẹ̀lú Liverpool níjọ́ Sunday.
Ojúlá àdúrà náà.
A gbìyànjú.
Ilé Liverpool kò rọrùn.
Kò rọrùn.
Ọ̀tọ̀lọ́ tó tààrọ̀ ọ̀tọ̀lọ́ tó bà.
Ẹ̀pà. Ó dà, ẹ ṣe gan bàbá wa olóyè, ẹja fi ilẹ̀ ẹ máa wo bọ́ọ̀lù lọ. Tó òun lẹ tútù gbọ́ ohun bàbá wa nínú ibi tí a tún pè wọ́n wọ́n sọ time tí wọ́n wà ní Germany, èmi sọ time tèmi wà ní London, àní sọ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. On behalf of Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho as the spokesman, there is nothing wrong with Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. He's alive and healthy. He's right in his home watching football, according to the call we just made to him in just about a few minutes ago. And for those that are putting out the rumor that the enemies of the Yorubas that doesn't want Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho to complete what mission the gods of the land have given him to do, and not just him alone, because evidence pointed out, as we stated at the early hours of this morning, that it is not just Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho that is asking for the separation of Nigeria, but it seems that many Nigerians have the same views and feelings that the end of Nigeria must happen, and it must happen very, very fast. And if you look at the graph, again coming from an independent media or blogger called Tunde Ednot, it is quite an indicator that 85% of Nigerians agree with Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho that Nigeria needs to be separated, and it needs to be separated now without any time wasted. And on that note, again, for anyone that is still out there wishing him bad or wishing him death, we leave you to the Creator. But let us remind you that Chief Sunday Igboho is not the only one that wants the separation of Nigeria. Many Nigerians also want the same thing as many of us that are Yorubas, and many of us under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. We will go to the next conversation, but let's come out of this once again as the spokesman of Chief Sunday Igboho, and he has already spoken to us again tonight. He's healthy, right at home, after eating eba and vegetable stew, watching football as a form of relaxation. And he's also looking forward to the game between Man U and Arsenal. As a Man U supporter, I will also say we look forward to beating Arsenal in the next game. And that is from that. Let's come back to the program, Mukibubua. There is still quite a lot of development. And this one now is slightly out of the movement. And what I mean by that is that it is something that got to us with a very, very, very development that we were not expecting. Just give me a few minutes. Once again, please share the program and invite others to do so. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, and popularly known as the Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. As we all know on this platform, we have many of our family members that watch this program that also believe in this particular cause. But I can confirm tonight, on behalf of the Koiki family, that we lost a mother, a grandmother, and also one of the wife of the late Alhaji Mojid Omotayo Koiki. She died just some few days ago, and we pray for her soul and the rest of the family that she has left behind to bear this very sad development that has happened to the family. She's well known within the community, right where she has lived in America for some time. But as much as we would have loved her to be with us, but the Creator wanted her to come closer to Him. And that means that she passed away. On behalf of myself and the family, we are sending our condolences to the children, the grandchildren, and all the family of Koiki, both at home and in the diaspora, for the death of Alhaja Taibat Koiki, one of the wife of Alhaji, the late Alhaji Mojid Omotayo Koiki, that died just some few days ago in the United States of America. Eléyìí ni a fi ń kẹ́dùn fún àwa mọ̀lẹ́bí Koiki pé kọ́lọ́n kó bá wa foríjì màmá olóríire, màmá dáadáa, màmá lálùbáríkà, màmá tí ó fi gbogbo ọjọ́ ayé ẹ̀ tó fi ṣe ń tán pè ní humanity. Bó ṣe ń tọ́jú ara ló ń tọ́jú ilé, ló ń tọ́jú àdúgbò. Àmọ́ ohun Ọlọ́run láti pè wọ́n sọ́dọ̀, ohun àwa ènìyàn pé kó túbọ̀ pẹ́ pẹ̀lú wa. Bọ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti ṣe mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run ọba nìkan ló mọ àsìkò tó lúkálukú máa lọ. Àsìkò tó dá ni màmá lọ. A dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ fún ìgbésí ayé tí wọ́n gbé kó tó di pé ọlọ́jọ́ dé. Mo wá tún fi àsìkò yìí, mo fi ń kí gbogbo fámílì wa àti gbogbo fámílì Koiki, èyí tó ń bẹ nílé àti tó ń bẹ ní òkè òkun, pé kọ́lọ́n kó jọ kó má jẹ́ kó jẹ́ tẹ̀léńtẹ̀lé, kó bá fi ikú kó fi dé ilẹ̀ dáadáa fún wọn. And that is coming from the Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. And we move swiftly back to the discussion right here on the desk, because there's still a lot to cover and the ground is still very hot. The next conversation is coming through our leader, Professor Adebanjo Akintoye, where under his leadership, he has sent a strong message out. And we're going to be discussing that in just about a few minutes. We have seen an attack with Igboho in the last couple of weeks and days. And these attacks kept coming. These attacks kept rolling. And these attacks doesn't seem to stop. And that means that Baba Akintoye had now released a statement that I'm going to read to you, but bear with me. There's quite a lot of development. But one thing is, we are capable to manage all the crises that is unfolding, especially with the Fulanis that continue to create havoc on our land and in every part of Yoruba land. As we all know that we have been talking about Fulani, but it seems that many Yorubas are still living in doubt that these individuals are capable to create havoc. Many Yorubas still believe that these individuals would not be able to do exactly what they've said they would do. But I can tell us that we should not live in denial that the Fulanis would do more if we do not act now. It will be in the interest of every Yorubas to act now before it is too late. The longer we stay without acting, the more we are likely to be taken out, as they've done with the Hausas, where as of today, You can hardly know if there's Hausa existing in the northern part of Nigeria, even though the minority, that is the Fulanis, have taken control of the part of what we call the northern part of Nigeria. And that is the reason why we are asking everybody that it is better we exit Nigeria together before Nigeria will exit us. We continue to pray and hope that many of us will understand that what is being played out in the northern part of Nigeria today, where the Hausas have been completely taken out, it's going to happen in Yoruba land if we do nothing. Whether you agree with it or not, whether you believe or not, it is time now for Yoruba people to exit Nigeria now. Not tomorrow. It has to be done now, because the situation that we are seeing playing out is going to play out more even after Tinubu complete his tenure. While Tinubu is in government, Baba Akintoye has made it known that the agenda of the Fulani is not yet over. Their agenda is still as strong as it was while Buhari was in power. The agenda of the Fulani is to maim, kill, destroy, and take over your land. And this agenda, even if it will last 1,000 years, they will come and still complete it. And there are many evidence to back this from those that understand this agenda of the Fulanis, those that have studied them, those that have understood that there is something that this Fulani wants to do to make sure that the destruction of lives and property is not just what they're after. They are also after taking over our land that belongs to us. And this agenda has been playing on and on. Let's listen to this to start.
Which is it for you, Dr. Obadiah? Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of Southern Kaduna?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations to you.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers.
Yes.
That's big.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. How would the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings. No doubt about it. Because, you see, General Abacha, and people don't give him his due. Do you think you would have tolerated such nonsense? And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
Fulani ló jẹ́ o. Ọmọ Oòduà. Ọ̀gá Fulani. Ọ̀gá Fulani. Ọ̀gá Fulani ló jẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation yìí ti gbogbo wa ni. Kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́. Torí kò sílùú mìíràn. Ọmọ Oòduà. Ọ̀gá Fulani. Ọ̀gá Fulani. Ọ̀gá Fulani ló jẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation yìí ti gbogbo wa ni. Kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́. Torí kò sílùú mìíràn. Ọmọ Oòduà. Ọ̀gá Fulani. Ọ̀gá Fulani. Ọ̀gá Fulani ló jẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation yìí ti gbogbo wa ni. Kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́. Torí kò sílùú mìíràn.
I'm going to come and welcome you all before the end of the broadcast. But let's go to the serious discussion tonight. As these press release coming from the leader of the movement, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, have now come out to send a strong message to the Fulanis and those that are friends supporting the agenda of these criminal terrorists that have decided to come after Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. And we're going to be reading that to us in just about a few minutes. I want us to all sit back and listen to the message of the press release from our honorable leader, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group. And let's remind us again that self-determination under Article 3, as stated, the indigenous peoples have the right to self-determination. By virtue of that right, they are freely determine their political status and pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. And that means that whatever we are doing tonight is still within the ambience of the international law. Whatever we are doing tomorrow until our quest is heard, we will not stop demanding our right to self-determination. Let's read through together how these has come through as a press release from the leader, the honorable leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group. You're watching and listening to Koikimedia, 10th of January 2025 from the studio in London. The war by Fulani leaders against Sunday Igboho needs to stop now. Professor Adebanji Akintoye, leader Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. Yesterday, January 5, 2025, I witnessed a video showing an important Fulani leader, Professor Garus Gololo, screaming a fearsome message against Chief Sunday Igboho, a prominent leader of the Yoruba self-determination struggle. Professor Gololo's attacks on Sunday Igboho were so harsh and so lacking in truth that I have decided to make the truth available to him. I need to say that in putting this true information forward, I am not acting in any spirit of anger or malice. I just believe that every prominent citizen of Nigeria needs to have the truth as the basis of his public pronouncement in the interest of us all. Professor Gololo thinks that seeking self-determination for one's nation is a crime. This is highly educated compatriot of ours is grossly wrong in that view. Demanding self-determination for one's nation is entirely in accordance with the provisions of international law and of Nigerian law. The United Nations Declaration of the Right of Indigenous Peoples affirms that indigenous peoples have the right to self-determination and that members of an indigenous peoples have the right to seek to retrieve their nation's self-determination from the country that their nation currently belongs to, provided that they do it without violence or destructiveness. The African Charter of Human and People's Rights fully affirms exactly the same. Now, since Nigeria is a member of the United Nations and the African Union and a signatory to these two international laws, both laws are part of the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari, speaking at the United Nations General Assembly in 2016 and 2017, acknowledged that if any nation in Nigeria seeks self-determination peacefully through a peaceful organization, then the Nigerian state would have no other option than to negotiate with such a nation. President Buhari even added that it is immoral to deny self-determination to any nation that peacefully seeks it. Therefore, since the Yoruba self-determination struggle is well known to be an avowedly and consistently peaceful and law-abiding movement, Sunday Igboho, as the leader of his breaking no law of Nigeria, no activist in the struggle of the Yoruba self-determination and separation from Nigeria is breaking any law. As Professor Gololo may not know, the Yoruba self-determination struggle published a manual in 2020 to guide the activists of the struggle and to inform its Yoruba people and the rest of the world about its chosen path to self-determination of the Yoruba nation. Copies of this manual titled Yoruba Nation Chooses the Noble Path to Its Noble Goal was sent to the President of Nigeria and to the Secretary General of the United Nations. In response to Professor Gololo's massively fiercely attack against Sunday Igboho on social media, the highest organ of the Yoruba self-determination struggle has directed that the manual be further widely disseminated and a copy must be made to reach Professor Gololo. The following is the background story of Sunday Igboho intervention in Igboho in 2021. The intervention that makes Professor Gololo and other Fulani notables violently set against Sunday Igboho, the northwestern province of the Yoruba homeland, the area of Yewa, Ibarapa, and Okeogun, has always been peaceful, rural area and the home of very productive Yoruba farmers. About 2010, a certain citizens of the province named Fatai Aborode returned home from abroad and many years of study in Germany after obtaining a doctorate degree in engineering and after an impressive professional career. On arrival back home, Dr. Aborode started a large modern farm which at the peak of its success by 2020 employed as many as 320 workers of various specializations and grades. From 2015, large numbers of Fulani began to descend on the area, immediately killing, maiming, raping, kidnapping, extorting, ransom, destroying farms, farmstead, and villages, horribly wreckage all peace and security. They even had a coordinator, their appointed chieftains with the title of Seriki. Their reign of terror was so fierce that even the Obas of the area lived in the fear of Fulani Seriki. One of the Fulani groups once kidnapped a daughter of one of the Obas and held her for many days in the bush until a large ransom was raised and paid by the Oba. On December 12, 2020, a group of heavily armed Fulani men ambushed Dr. Aborode's car on the public road near his farm, killed him, and fiercely mutilated his body. In the public outcry that followed on other citizens of the area, a young man named Sunday Adeyemo, better known as Sunday Igboho, who lived in the city of Ibadan, decided to do something about the situation. On January 8, 2021, taking some youth with him and responsibly asking for police protection for himself and his group, Sunday Igboho headed for the town of Igogon, the reported headquarters of Fulani Seriki. In Ten's village, after Ten's village on his way, large crowds of the youth aroused and joined his group, and so too did many policemen. By the time he reached Igogon, his following had swollen to over 3,000 youth. He founded the Seriki surrounded by a guard of many Fulani militiamen armed with AK-47 rifles. As Sunday Igboho stood before the Seriki, one of the Seriki militiamen shot at him, but he waved the shot aside and calmly continued to address the Seriki. He informed the Seriki that the people of the area wanted all the Fulani to leave their area in the interest of peace. There was no violence in his words or actions, and the police were there observing the situation. The Seriki did not argue before Sunday Igboho left. He advised the Seriki and his crowd of killers and kidnappers to leave the area within 7 days. When he came back 7 days later with his large following, the Seriki and his Fulani Mareduas had fled from the province. Sunday Igboho became an instant national hero among his Yoruba people, but instantly, too, to Fulani people of all ranks, including even the Fulani in the highest peaks of Nigerian federal government. Igogon became an unbearable Fulani failure, and Sunday Igboho became the Fulani's number one enemy, an enemy that must be eliminated. The reason for their virulence against Sunday Igboho is that since the late 1990s, Fulani leaders from Nigeria had been busy mobilizing Fulani leaders from all over West Africa, and together they had held many meetings and had ultimately decided their Fulani nation that had never owned a homeland must now own a homeland, must choose Nigeria as the homeland that Allah had given to the Fulani, and must use force to seize the homeland of the indigenous peoples of Nigeria and convert all into the Fulani homeland. This Fulani agenda quickly resulted in hundreds of Fulani hideouts all over the Yoruba forest. Of these Fulani's secret seizures of Yoruba land, their settlement in Okeogun area was the most successful, with Igogon at its center. Sunday Igboho's expulsion of the Fulani from Igogon and district was therefore a big blow to the Fulani agenda. For months, high-ranking Fulani citizens went to visit Igboho and the neighboring towns as if they were mourning the Fulani failure there. Since Sunday Igboho had committed no crime, they could not get him arrested by the Fulani-led federal government of Nigeria, but they broadly over other options. Meanwhile, Sunday Igboho's fame and support among his Yoruba people bloomed. In May 2021, the Yoruba self-determination struggle embarked on a massive rally across Yoruba land to promote their struggle, with Sunday Igboho as leader of the rallies. This rally turns out to be the biggest massive rallies ever in Nigerian history. The rally started in Ibadan, where a crowd of 1.3 million people participated, and went on to Abeokuta, Osogbo, Akure, Ado-Ekiti, with the huge crowd increasing at every stage. Ado-Ekiti had the largest crowd, numbering about 3.1 million people. Each of these rallies was wonderfully orderly and peacefully. Nobody was cautioned or arrested by police, nobody was wounded, and no property was damaged. Then on July 1st, 2021, at 1 o'clock in the dead of the night, some operatives of Nigerian Department of State Security (DSS), leading an army of over 200 Fulani militia men and terrorists, showed up outside Sunday Igboho's Ibadan home. They had not come to arrest him, but to kill him. They blocked the main highway and other roads passing through the neighborhood, deeply surrounded the house. They embarked from the front on shooting and destroying everything of value: cars, motorcycles, bicycles, including the neighbors' cars. Everything awakened by the noise. Sunday Igboho rushed to the window, yanked it open, and shouted, "Who are you people? What do you want?" They recognized his voice as some of them caught sight of his face. By the brief illumination at the window, they fired countless bullets at that window. There they forced their way into the house, more than 100 guns blazing in many neighboring houses. People fainted in shock, starting with the room where Sunday Igboho had appeared at the window. They pulled down the house room by room, leaving nothing to the chance. They killed 2 of the people asleep in the house and rounded up the rest. They even shot and killed the family cat, believing that it was Sunday Igboho transformed into a cat. Miraculously, though they searched and shredded the whole house from floor to roof, they never saw Sunday Igboho anywhere in it. When they left, they took the 2 blood-soaked corpses with them, as well as the person whom they had arrested in the house. The DSS operatives returned to Abuja by road in the outskirts of Ibadan. They paid off the militia men whom they had hired for the invasion of Sunday Igboho's home, and these departed to their hideout in some forest near Ibadan. In Ado-Ekiti, in Ekiti State, the DSS operative dropped off the 2 corpses at a public mortuary. Back in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, the DSS hurried to display to the public a collection of weapons which they claim that they had seized from Sunday Igboho's home. Their intention was to use these to paint the picture that Sunday Igboho was an insurrectionalist who had been harbored weapons, but the look quickly ran out when many citizens in different parts of Nigeria identified the display weapons collection as the same collection which the DSS displayed in connection with a previous criminal case. The Office of the Attorney General of Nigeria then issued a statement denying government's involvement in the attack on Sunday Igboho's home. But the DSS arranged in court the men and women whom they had arrested in Sunday Igboho's home. Lawyers from the Attorney General's office came to present the DSS case. The government then announced that Sunday Igboho was wanted by the law. In Ibadan, Sunday Igboho's people and lawyer filed his case in Nigerian High Court against the government and its agents that they had acted illegally by coming to his house in the night, that he had abused his human rights and civil rights, that he had killed some people asleep in his home, that he had destroyed his home and a lot of other properties, etc. Having no answer to these charges, the DSS and the government lawyers pleaded that the justification for their actions against Sunday Igboho was that he had been engaging in secessionist activity by advocating the self-determination and separation of the Yoruba nation from Nigeria. But in its judgment, the court ruled that self-determination was the inalienable right of every nation, that advocating self-determination was not an offense under the laws of Nigeria, and the government agent had acted illegally by going to citizens' home in the night, by bombarding the house, by killing the people there, by destroying the house. The court then awarded 20 billion naira as damages for Sunday Igboho against the government and its agent. The court ordered finally that the government order declaring Sunday Igboho wanted should be withdrawn by the government. Days passed until the deadline set by law for filing an appeal against the High Court judgment passed. If Nigeria had been a land of law, that should have been the end of this case in the court. But under this Fulani-led government, Nigeria was very far from being a land of law. Weeks after the deadline had passed, the government agent and their lawyer appeared before the court seeking to file an appeal. The judge responded that they had lost the deadline for the filing of appeal. But this was Nigeria. A week or so later, the court judge was hurriedly transferred or just shoved aside, and a new judge, a Fulani judge, was brought from somewhere in the northern Nigeria to hear the appeal, and he did what he had been brought to do. He struck down every single point in the earlier judgment of the court. However, Sunday Igboho's lawyer immediately embarked on the steps and needed for an appeal to the Nigerian Supreme Court. The case is a civil case filed by Sunday Igboho against the government of Nigeria. There is no criminal charge against Sunday Igboho anywhere, but the Fulani-led federal government will not relent because Sunday Igboho was and still is regarded by the Fulani as the greatest enemy of the Fulani. On July 20, 2021, while Sunday Igboho and his wife were waiting for a flight to Europe at the Cotonou airport in Benin Republic, he was arrested. The news flashed through Cotonou immediately, and Sunday Igboho kinsmen went into action immediately, certain that this was Nigeria's corruption and illegality in action. They found that the plan was to whisk Sunday Igboho to Nigeria that night, but their lawyer made that impossible, and so there followed roughly 30 months of Sunday Igboho's detention in Cotonou, partly in prison custody, partly under house arrest, without any criminal charge, without any court case, or for what the authority described as investigation. On the whole, the Benin Republic Authority are straightforward people, very much unlike Nigerian officials. It was obvious that they were acting under some corrupt foreign pressure. Even so, the leader of the Yoruba self-determination struggle, because they operated under a strict rule that they must never let any of their people suffer unjust treatment, sue the government of Benin Republic at the ECOWAS court, and the ECOWAS court ruled that Benin Republic must pay Sunday Igboho 20 million CFA, about 55 million naira, for unjust detention. Yes, our Yoruba self-determination struggle is a peaceful, law-abiding, civilized, and competent movement. We know our rights, we are charitable towards others, but we don't tolerate unjust persecution of our people. We want our Fulani compatriots to give up their campaigns of falsehood against one of our foremost leaders, Sunday Igboho. By the grace of God, we Yoruba shall soon peacefully depart from Nigeria and begin under our own patriotic and dedicated leaders to live the life of progress and high-quality prosperity that we Yoruba love very much. We say proudly to the world that our new country shall be friendly and helpful neighbor to all its neighbors, by the grace with all his neighbors. Yes, Yoruba Nation struggle is a peaceful and law-abiding, civilized and competent movement. We know our right. We are charitable towards others, but we don't tolerate injustice persecution of our people. We want our Fulani compatriots to give up their campaign of falsehood against one of our foremost leaders, Sunday Igboho. By the grace of God, we Yoruba shall soon peacefully depart from Nigeria and begin under our patriotic and dedicated leader to live the life of progress and high-quality prosperity that we Yoruba love very much. We say proudly to the world that our new country shall be friendly, helpful neighbor to all its neighbors, a country decently upholding the dignity of the black race, a country that all other countries in the world shall respect and confidently do business with. This is coming from Professor Adebanji Akintoye. The war by Fulani leaders against Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho needs to stop now. Fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tí ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ ìtakàtúndélẹ̀, à ń ṣiṣẹ́ lórí bá ṣe máa ka eléyìí ní èdè Yorùbá tí ó bá ti jiná tán tí ó ṣe translation ẹ̀ sédè Yorùbá. Iléeṣẹ́ Koikimedia agbèjáde ní kíákíá. Mo wá kí gbogbo wa pé a kú jókòó lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí i. As we continue the program, let's come back out and start looking into tí bàbá sọ nínú àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí gbogbo wa ti gbọ́ yìí. Quite detailed, quite a lot, and we must understand that Fulani are still looking to kill their own because nobody will kill or take away Igboho from us now. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá ń ro ikú kan olóyè Igboho, ẹ̀yin ni ikú máa bá lẹ́yọ kọ̀ọ̀kan tí kò ní fi yín sílẹ̀, because Igboho is not doing anything against the law. Igboho is doing exactly what the law wants him to do. And for those of us that are still in doubt that Yoruba Nation will come to pass, let us remind you that our quest will continue and our demands must be met. And that's exactly what we are doing right now. So mo kí gbogbo wa káàkiri gbogbo ibi tí ẹ ti ń gbọ́ ohùn wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí iléeṣẹ́ yìí. I know that was a bit of reading there, but it is worth reading because kò ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ló lè ka in tí a fi síta yẹn. Bó bá ṣe tó di pé a ṣe jáde ní audio àti ń send ẹ̀ síta, tẹ́ bá bá pàdé, ọ̀yin ni kẹ́yìn bá wa pín audio yẹn kó lè dé gbogbo ibi tí ó yẹ kó dé. Ẹ bá wa share program yìí, ẹ bá wa pè lómi wọlé kó wá gbọ́ in tá à ń sọ níbí báyìí. It is very important that whatever we are doing on this platform, you are putting all your own effort to help us to share the program, because that is the only way. Ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n máa kẹ́yìn lọ ẹyọ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Mo kí àwa Beauty Àmọ̀pé, mo recognize yín. Free to Thing, mo kí yín. Ọ̀ṣọ́ Ọlámilékan, mo fi tọ̀wọ̀tọ̀wọ̀ dárúkọ yín. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Twitter, mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Twitter space. Mr. Oseni Ogundare Kunle, mo kí yín sir. Mo kí Mr. Gabriel Adekomoya, I hope I pronounce it. Mo kí Safety Domain, mo kí brother mi dáadáa. He was privileged to speak to Igboho while Igboho was in London. But ẹ má bínú ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá ti láǹfààní àti bá Igboho sọ̀rọ̀ one-on-one. We are trying our best to make sure that it goes round. Safety Domain had the privilege to speak to Igboho at the time tí bàbá wá sí London, because it was lucky that the call just happened to be going together simultaneously. Now, let's come into the program, because quite a detail we've had there in that, massive, write-up fún bàbá. Àwọn Fúlàní ò dé dẹ̀yìn lẹ́yìn olóyè Igboho, and we know that, but we must not relent. We must continue to make sure that we protect Igboho at all costs. Igboho is a beacon that we cannot joke with, and gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá needs to understand that we must, it is a must that we protect our hero, that is not a criminal, Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, against every attack, against anyone that believe that they have the audacity to come and take him away from us. Gbogbo tó bá gbà ni a gbọ́dọ̀ fi protected. Mostly prayers. We must continue to pray for him on a daily basis for good health, good long life, against all attacks, spiritual attack, physical attack. Gbogbo tó bá ń gbé láti fẹ́ make sure pé wọ́n máa rí olóyè must not happen. A dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa tí àwọn náà sọ fún wa pé kí olóyè gbé àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan, gbogbo ẹ̀ náà ni olóyè ń gbọ́. Ẹ má bínú because I'm trying to do multiple tasks at the same time because those audios needs to go out quickly. So that is exactly what I'm doing. So tẹ́ bá ti bọ́dọ̀ yẹn pàdé, please share it. Ẹ bá wa pín, ẹ má fi sí ọwọ́ yín nìkan. Everybody must share this audio to go far and wide. We are not getting paid for that. It is just part of what we decided we'll be doing in 2025. More audio, especially if I want to access the data. They can listen to this audio and they can find the full video if they have to do so. Let's listen again to how we spoke to Igboho some few hours ago, and also we have spoken to him while we were at the beginning of the live broadcast. Ẹ jẹ́ gbọ́ bí olóyè ṣe respond nígbà tí àwọn ọ̀tá ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àtàwọn ọ̀tá Fulani, àwọn ọ̀tá wa tí wọ́n sọ pé ikú pa bàbá àwọn àti ìyá àwọn tó kìí ṣe olóyè ọmọ Adéyẹmọ. Mo kí Azeez Sakiru, mo kí Mr. Saliu Salisi, mo kí Mr. Samson Adekunle, mo kí Mr. Adegoroye Opeyemi, mo recognize yín. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀, mo kí Clement, Happy New Year my brother, all hail Biafra, thank you so much. Mo kí Grace Olúṣòótọ́, mo kí mọ̀mísí mi náà pé tó mọ́mí wa tí ó ṣaláìsí, grandma ìyá dáadáa tí a sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé ìkan náà àwọn ìyàwó dádì ni ó jáde láyé, kọ́lọ́njọ́ kó bá foríjì ìyá wa náà, ìyẹn Alhaja Taibat Koiki excuse me, tó jẹ́ lára ìyàwó tí Alhaji Ọmọ́táyọ̀ Koiki fẹ́, kọ́lọ́n foríjì màmá náà ni ẹ̀ ń wò lẹ́yìn nìyẹn. She lived in the United States of America in New York, and we pray for all the family and the extended family and everyone that has been affected with her death, as the news is breaking, across all the Koikimedia family. Mo kí gbogbo Koikimedia family tó ń bẹ ní Yorùbá land, kọ́lọ́n bá mi dúró ti gbogbo yín, kọ́lọ́n máa wá ṣe ní tẹ̀léńtẹ̀lé. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀, mo kí àwa rí ẹ̀sìn ìrìn ọmọ aládé, mo kí Mr. Victoria, mo kí bàbá wa Ṣódẹ́yìndé Olúwatóbi, Adéníyì Akeem, mo recognize yín. Mo kí Mr. Ọlá Tony Ages, mo kí bàbá wa Kẹ́hìndé Ọlá Oseni, mo kẹ́yìn silent listeners. Rahim Abbas, mo spot yín. Mo kí ẹ Ògúnmọ́lá Abíọ́dún, Akin Games, mo kí yín. We are also live on the MixLR. It's very cheaper for you to listen from there if you wish to do so. Mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀, mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń bẹ lórí Facebook right now, tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa náà. Mo kí Prince Ademola Heritage, mo kí Mr. Olúmayọ̀, mo kí bàbá wa Tèmídáyọ̀ Dennis, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí a jọ wà lórí ìkànnì yìí. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní Koiki tó bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ ó máa ń ní 20 years. Ẹni sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ fún mi 30 seconds. Ẹ máa ní mo máa ń sọ pé 20 years, mo ní 20 years ló máa tó ká tó gba Yorùbá nation náà. Mo ní ó máa maximum 20 years la máa fi build a Yoruba country. I've never said it will take us 20 years la máa fi gba Yoruba nation. Mo kí Mr. Monet, ẹgbọ́n sókè alàgbà tó ń pè wá.
You are live.
Yes, ṣé ká sọ̀rọ̀ later because I'm in the middle of the program.
Later, bye-bye.
All right. So mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa pátápátá tí ẹ jẹ́ olólùfẹ́ wa, tí ẹ ń gbọ́ wa, and many of you that are just quiet, silent listeners, but you enjoy what we do here, and we pray for you as we pray for ourselves. Koikimedia is still ongoing program that comes up frequently. Mo kí Abiodun Joy, mo cite yín, mo kí Mr. Tunde Hamzat, mo kí Mr. Opeyemi Osha Igboho, and also we'll be talking about the upcoming event in Ibadan sí Òkè Ògùn lọ́la pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ Sharia. I have the privilege to speak to Ologunoluwa. So we're going to talk about that. So please do not go yet. There's still a lot to cover. Mo fẹ́ show yín ní fídíò Tinubu kan tó jáde lórí first post. Then mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ sọ fún wa nípa how we will make money in the future Yoruba country with an event tó ń bọ̀ ní India. Over 400 million people will attend, and it's going to make them billions of dollars. We can do the same thing, but it cannot happen if we still remain in Nigeria. So still a lot to cover, and we are still just 1 hour. This program might not be 2 hours, but let's see how far we go. Let's take it again from here. Ṣífù lélẹ́yìí. Ṣífù, wọ́n dẹ̀ ní wọ́n náà ta yín jáde láyé lórí Facebook. Kílẹ̀ ẹ̀ ń jẹun lọ́wọ́ ni.
Èmi tẹ̀ ń lo jíjẹ lọ́wọ́ ni.
Níjọ́ Friday, ṣẹ́rí time, ṣẹ́rí date, ní Friday 10th January.
2025.
Okay.
Mo ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ mọ́ ẹ̀bà lọ́wọ́.
Ẹ ń lo ẹ̀fọ́ àtẹ̀bà. Ṣé pé orúkọ yín kàn ń tajà báyìí nísìnyí bàbá mi?
Ó ga jù bàbá.
Ó dà, ẹja fi ilẹ̀ kẹ́ máa jẹun lọ. Ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá, ẹ fọkàn yín balẹ̀. Ara bàbá le dáadáa, kò sí nǹkan kan tó ṣe bàbá.
Mo kò lárọ̀ tá le.
Àdúpẹ́ fún.
Mo mú ara nílẹ̀. Mo ń gbé jábọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí.
Ó dà, ẹja fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bàbá. Ó dà. Òun lẹ gbọ́ tí olóyè fẹnu rẹ̀ sọ pé òun ń bọ̀ láìpẹ́ yìí fún rally pé ká lọ máa múra sílẹ̀ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí a ṣì ń kí ìyá wa náà tí ó jẹ́ ìyá wa tí bàbá wa tí wọ́n jáde láyé láìpẹ́ yìí náà ní last year December. A great mother, a mother that knows that Yoruba people needs to be free, and we can only be free if we all look into the problem that we are facing today. And who is this mother? We're talking about Mrs. Olubusola Akintoye, the wife of the leader of the Yoruba self-determination struggle, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, that died, in December 2025. Sorry, 2024 rather, not 25. She has passed on, and we can only pray for the departed soul. Quite a lot of fast development happening simultaneously. But let's just quickly review this Baba Akintoye press release. Some of the pointer, and it's going to take some days for me to go through it, so I nearly rush it because there's a lot of details. Tí Baba sọ̀rọ̀ nínú intercarton. Let me first go back to the attack by Fulani against Igboho. Gbogbo náà la mọ̀ pé they are attacking Igboho because Igboho has stopped their mission to conquer Yoruba land. Igboho has slowed it down, and Igboho is giving them a lot of concern. And that means wọ́n ṣe gbogbo ọ̀nà pé kí olóyè Igboho ńkọ́ kó má lè ní ìlọsíwájú pé nǹkan tó gbé dání. And that is why they kept attacking and attacking him, in their media space, in their print, in their offline, that Igboho is like an enemy. But internationally, the world knows that Igboho is not a criminal. And that remains so, because Igboho cannot be a criminal and be traveling around the world when many of you know that as a criminal, you will be stopped. But as we all saw, Igboho has been in London, he has been to, many other places, and yet nobody has said that Igboho is wanted around the world. It is only the Nigerian government under President Tinubu right now that has not lifted, the declare wanted on Igboho, because as far as they're concerned, Tinubu still believe that is going in line with what Buhari did with Igboho. So ta ló ń pè ní Igboho? Everybody knows that Igboho rised up after Dr. Borode was killed in Igboho. He didn't feel comfortable with it. Nobody was talking in Yoruba land. Everybody was quiet. But Igboho decided that no, this cannot happen. We have now saw lately that even the Adeku, the new Alaafin, we're going to come back to that as well. Quite a lot of fast-moving development is happening around Yoruba land. But the most important is that the attack on Igboho needs to stop. But it's not going to stop. So Tabanrope, they are going to stop the attack on Igboho, that we think that these criminal Fulanis are going to stop it. They don't have any a reason to stop. They are even praying that they can take out Igboho if they find it. Awanika make sure we do everything humanly to protect him, physically to make sure that Igboho was continue to also, being shielded from the Fulani attack that is coming frequently. Moki Spark Lizzie, Spark Oza, Ekabo Sorieto. Then Consti Safety Domain says, may the soul of the departed mothers rest in peace. Mr. Idris ni, the Olori Burukomo Alaaru Sheyi Tinubu that posted that news about CSI shall not end this year. Ni Ashele Dumari. Yawa Grace Solution Chief Sunday Igboho Majasola Disa, aka Igboho Sha, unquotable. Alakpaji will live to witness the freedom of Yoruba nation because he has worked for it and it is an active elected son of the soil. Lashe Dumari Eshigoni. Lenkonsi, Moki Mr. Awe, Moki Dr. Okwe 704. Because of my time, like I said, lot of pointer. After Tiatika, this particular, it took us about half an hour to read through. But Eric, Baba Kitoye ṣàlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ademama fi lè ṣe program for a while títí tá máa fi lè ní understanding, because ẹlòmíì ò mọ tí Igboho jáde fún, ẹlòmíì ní ó fẹ́ he wanted to become fame, ẹlòmíì ní ó wọ́wọ́ ni, ẹlòmíì ní ó fẹ́ negotiate pẹ̀lú politician ni. All manners and all kind of talks kept on coming for him. But Baba Kitoye has given us a background of what is self-determination. Nigeria is a signatory to such self-determination by the UN and African Charter. So Nigeria cannot tell Igboho that Intonja is wrong, knowing fully well that self-determination, like I said, is an inalienable right. But what now made Igboho to become favorite to many of us, when the Fulani thought that they will use Igboho as their base to operate into Yoruba land, Igboho dismantled that network. And if you listen to what Malafia said, the late Malafia made it known to us that, forget it, these are people that have an agenda, and that agenda is to take you and your land. Some of us did not believe it, but after a while, evidence. We started seeing a bit of evidence that, look, it seems that there's an agenda, and this agenda is becoming, the truth. But many people still say, no, it's not possible. That how can there be an agenda? But somebody knew that that agenda was true, just to back Baba Kitoye. Let's listen to the former Commodore OLAKUNLE that spoke in the mainstream media about the agenda of the Fulanis that the Buhari administration decided to overlook. The same Buhari sent terrorists, Fulani militia, to kill Igboho in the house. They killed the cat. Remember that we lost Adogon and Alhaji Fatai. Bashimba Soro. These two bodies have not been returned, but let's hear what Olakunle Olayomi said about Buhari as at the time.
It's not about sentiment. It's that there are a group of people in this country that feels that this country should be Islamized. This is a fact. except you want me to start mentioning names of people in this government that we have interrogated. I was a member of an interrogation team, and I've interrogated a very high-ranking member of this government in 2007, 2008 on issue of Boko Haram. I interrogated him. He's in this government right now. And what was the issue? Boko Haram. And this senior officer was actually let go because he was found culpable. But right now he's in the government. You see, we must say the truth, because if you don't, this country is going down the precipice. We have been set back more than 60 years right now. We've gone back to the time before 1966 now. And whoever is coming back to repair this country has a lot of work to do. This country has never been polarized, so we cannot run away from it. We have never been this much polarized. I'm a federal person. My mind is federal. My brain is federal. My loyalty is federal. I do things for the federal government. So I cannot come here and try to be sentimental. No, I'm a federal person.
So will your life be at risk now that they're hearing you?
I don't care. I don't care. And my colleagues, they know me. Those people that listen to me, they know me. I don't care. The issue is that this country is bigger than individual. That is the issue. This country is bigger than individuals. Buhari will come and go. Eliminating me or killing me will not solve the problem and will not add value. But he will come and go. And somebody must come and repair the damage to the psyche of this society, the damage to the polarization, to the nepotism that I've never seen in my life. I work with all these presidents. This is the worst situation I've found myself. And believe me, internet does not forget. I was part of the people that helped to bring Buhari to government because I believe in him.
Have you worked with the government after that?
After
you helped bring the government?
Oh, of course, I worked with him. We brought him in 2015, and I work as the Deputy Director of Defense Administration. And we have a lot of hope in him. And we actually are ready to do anything for him. What he has turned out over the years is shocking to us. I was in Harvard in 2014, in December, when the Department of State Services and CIA and others were contemplating about Buhari and other aspirants. I know what we did to convince the American government that the only person that can come and put this country right is Buhari. That was before the Lagos, APC, before they chose within.
Right.
And that was how Tinubu came in. We know what we did, but what he has done in the past 6 years is shocking. It's unprecedented.
About in time, I can see that my screen is not fully adjusted. We're still setting the OBS back, to become properly well, structured. So please bear with us until we resolve all the problem. And I believe, because it's still taking a bit of time to get these things sorted out, but hopefully I will resolve all the problems surrounding, the software that we're using. But that is the most important thing. Mr. Salisi, Mokiawa Tito Aderinto, the bank bomida, the bank is in the comment section, and we will adjust, whatever needs to be adjusted, as we go into, on a daily basis, because I was adjusting the audio, so not sure why the screen is not coming as a full screen on your TV, and it's almost half on my laptop as well. So bear with us. Babawa Prince, money compliment of the season. Moki Babawa Daddy wa Grandpa Temidayo Dennis Omitogun wọ́n ní kò sí ohun kan búburú tí ó ṣe olórúkọ ní Àdìsá lágbára ilé ẹ̀dá Psalm 91. And bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ṣe máa rí. Because I don't want to stay too long, because we also have quite a lot. But I want to show us a few things before my time wraps up. So I'm going to come out of this particular one that we're talking now and take us straight to another area quickly. So let me first come out of that. Like I said, I'm not sure why my screen is not giving me. It's not giving me the full screen. I don't know why. But again, whatever the problem is, I will have to sort it out after. I can't do anything now until the Tabakwari program. It shouldn't be giving us half screen. We should be getting a full screen, but it seems that is not happening. I don't know why. Not sure why it's happening like that. But again, technology sometimes could be very funny. Now, mo fẹ́ gbé wa quickly lọ sí another sector of my discussion. Once again, if you've just joined us, you must have been hearing this rumor about Igboho and all this nonsense. It's all rumor. Igboho is alive, well, and I can confirm as a spokesman, we have had him on the live show. We have also had him spoke to us through a video call. You okay? What do you want? Eh? What phone? Where is it? Where's the phone? What's the time? When are you going to bed? You're not going to bed now. Okay, I'm coming now. You want to take this one? Who's holding the phone? Go and tell them to give the phone on my program. It might be doing you. So, actually gonna ignore me safety domain for the super chat. Love you so much. So I want us to listen to two different clips from First Post before I wrap up, because 2 hours they might be very soon. Listen, and I want to get that sorted out. It might be like consider your screen at home is not get. I mean, my TV is like on show in half. So that's about the program. You must test to make sure it's sorted out. After the live show, Tabashi promising, I'm just going to run a quick test because I don't know why I'm getting a half screen. So I'm going to quickly go to how Tinubu was talked about again in the international news. This platform is the international platform that tells you what is happening around the world and also help you to understand certain things. So what I'm going to show you right now has got to do with the news from First Post. I'm just trying to set it ready so that Kajo Fetik Bobby was she sọ̀rọ̀ Tinubu lẹ́ni again in the international space. Tinubu was talked about. You remember, as of when it comes to corruption, Tinubu is number one out of the 3 people mentioned when it comes to corruption. So I'm just getting that ready. Quite a lot of fire is going on in LA. So I'm just trying to get the video ahead. So when it comes to corruption, by corruption, President Tinubu has been mentioned again as one of the corrupt. Okay, I have it ready and I can now show us. Thank you so much once again for the super chat. Mr. Deubadebo Eshigonekale. So that is Nigeria corruption epidemic. Nigeria corruption epidemic. That is coming from the international news today, First Post. And as many of us always know, that corruption will occur in Nigeria. It is embedded. And Tinubu has also been named. The Barontipe Tinubu's name came up with Kenya, and I think I can't remember the other country. Tinubu corruption ranking. So, Eroti Bola Tinubu topped the list of the world's most corrupt organized crime person of the year, according to People's Gazette. This was last year, December. The infamous award came from OCCRP, called for citizens worldwide to nominate individuals worth of taking the spotlight for their roles in advanced criminal activities. Your president Tinubu was mentioned. Moki Babawa Amzat Eniola, Moki Mr. Razak, brother mi, Moki Yawa Taiwo Kike Fasami. Ètò ikú half an hour and the parí ẹ̀ èmi gan ti feel a bit tired, but mo ní láti push it. The infamous award, imagine wọ́n ní kí gbogbo àgbáyé, everybody around the world should vote for who is the most corrupt organized crime person, and Bola Tinubu's name was mentioned. That speaks volume for itself. So when we say that your president is a corrupt criminal person, I am not the one making this up. It is exactly what is being talked about in the international space. So don't come and accuse me of anything. You have to tell Tinubu to try to fix and put that damage. Mo kí bàbá mi Sulaiman, ẹ káalẹ́ sà, ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta, a dẹ̀ kú Jímọ̀ tèmi. President Bola Tinubu's Nigeria has claimed the top spot among a parade of the world's most ruthless, corrupt leaders. The infamous award came after the Organized Crime Corruption Reporting Project called Work with Gbogbo Citizens Worldwide. I mean, this is a disaster for anyone that doesn't understand. Imagine that your president has been put as the corrupt person in the world. That speaks the volume. But the average Nigerian will tell you, shut up. What is wrong with that? Is other country not corrupt? And you expect countries around the world to give you visa, to respect you. Gbogbo tó máa lò nìyẹn now against you as a citizen. So again, you are still on Koikimedia. On the People's Gazette, December 31st, 2024, headline, President Bola Tinubu tops the list of the world's most corrupt organized crime persons of the year. Ẹni tí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn vote fún pé ó ní crime, ó wà corrupt, organized crime. Wọ́n lò pé wọ́n sọ pé Tinubu wà lára wọn. Now, the group which coordinate a network of investigative journalists and activists around the world, kò ń ṣèyàn kan, kò ń ṣèyàn méjì. It's not about pé somebody has hatred for Tinubu. It's not that, oh, we don't love Tinubu. No, they are different journalists and different activists, excuse me, around the world that asked questions surrounding anyone around the world. If Tinubu was not a criminal, if Tinubu was not corrupt, his name would not be mentioned. For the fact that Tinubu's name was mentioned tells and speaks the volume that is a corrupt crime person, and that means that, you know, when somebody is corrupt, that is somebody is involved in crime. This group then says that Nigerian leader President Bola Tinubu came third after a vote by participants. Wọ́n ní òun ló gbé number 3 ní gbogbo àgbáyé when it comes to the corrupt person. And don't come and tell us, oh, because they don't like Tinubu. No. Tó bá rí ẹ̀rí, your president will not be added into that bracket in the first place. While Kenya President William Ruto, remember that Kenya ni wọ́n fi gbé Nnamdi Kanu lọ sí Nigeria, scored the most votes. President Tinubu was listed as number 3, following former Indonesian President Joko Widodo. So, if Tinubu was not corrupt, if he was not involved in crime, if he was not involved in drugs, if he was not involved in certificate saga and many other areas, and using Ademagbo video connecting, because I know some of you always think that we have hate for Tinubu, but you forget that this is an international platform and we cannot be biased regardless of whether we are fighting for Yoruba nation or not. We must continue to speak the truth to power, which is very, very unique and important. Which is very unique and important, and that is what we are doing here. So don't make it look as if that, oh, this Koikimedia, what is wrong with you and Tinubu? I am not the one speaking now. I am speaking, or rather reading from People's Gazette. And the news Tima play for you is the news that came out today from an international platform called First Post. The news has been watched with over 108,000 in just 7 hours. They have a follower of 6.5 million subscribers on YouTube. They are known as First Post. It's an international news platform. And their headline, I'm not going to play that now until I read the People's Gazette. This headline says, Nigeria corruption epidemic. Efarabale. When you listen to Koikimedia, don't point finger at me. Point finger at your criminal government that has made your life miserable. Let's go further. WAC Atikabe organized Nothing the Less awarded the main person of the year label to Bashar Assad, the recently ousted leader of Syria who fled to Russia earlier this month. Mr. Tinubu, 72 years old, even with his age, many people continue to say that is not his true age. I don't know. But Olomo Boya 72 low, Abokishi 72. That is his own personal problem, not mine. Was at the top for his role. Kini wọ́n fi gbé Tinubu sínú number 3 ní àwọn tó jẹ́ crime person in the world. President Bola Tinubu, 72 years old, was at the top for his role. Ipa tó kó, because àwọn tó gbọ́yìnbó, in entrenching a regime of corruption in Nigeria. So that means pé gbogbo ìgbà tí wọ́n sọ pé Tinubu Jagaban, àṣé Jagaban yẹn is a corrupt individual. I am not the one saying it. It is the fact that is coming out as I am reading it. And we're going to listen to another video to back it. He was the governor of Lagos State for 8 years, between 1999 and 2003. A period he used to amass enormous wealth for himself and his family. Wọ́n sọ pé nígbà tí Tinubu jẹ gómìnà ní 1999 títí di 2003 fọdún mẹ́jọ, níbẹ̀ ni ó ti jí owó aráàlú tó wá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ di Jagaban, tó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ di olówó àtàwọn fámílì ẹ̀. Following his assumption of office ní May last year, kódà Mr. Tinubu quickly moved to award a multi-trillion naira road project to a company run by his son. Ó gbé ipò tí wọ́n fẹ́ fi ṣe project tó máa lọ sí Lagos to Calabar tó ń pè ní multi-trillion naira project. Ó gbé fún ọmọ ẹ̀ Ṣèyí Tinubu. Ẹ wá ní kó má sọ pé Tinubu olè ni. Èmi kọ́ ni mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. That is the evidence tí wọ́n kà sí lọ́sùn. Òun ló máa wá jáde ló máa defend rẹ̀. Let's go further. Till date, and the controversy did little to allay widespread fears that President Bola Tinubu will raid Nigerian treasury as he did in Lagos the prior decades. President Tinubu's history as a cocaine dealer in Chicago, according to People's Gazette, President Tinubu history as a cocaine dealer, ẹni tó ń ta gbáná ní Chicago nígbà kan rí, tó ń ta white substance, also helped inform the participants in nomination process. So àwọn tí wọ́n nominate Tinubu, wọ́n wo record ẹ̀ pé nígbà tó wà ní Chicago, ó ń ta drugs, ó ń ta cocaine, ó ń ta oògùn olóró tó ń ṣe jàǹbá fáwọn èèyàn. Kò tún ṣe yẹn nìkan, wọ́n tún sọ̀rọ̀ nípa he was also rocked by allegation of certificate forgery. Wọ́n ó yíwèé padà, ó yí certificate ẹ̀ padà after tí ó wà tó inaugurated. He strongly denied all these allegations of corruption. Tinubu ní irọ́ ló ń pa mọ́ òun. Well, that's what he said. A spokesperson for President Tinubu did not immediately answer requests to seeking comment about his unveiling as a globally acclaimed organized crime. If you don't know the meaning of organized crime, I don't have the time tonight to tell you that. Go and study people that are involved in organized crime. I will leave it like that. Now, let's listen to how Tinubu was talked about by my beautiful, Palik Sharma, the presenter of the first post, Nigeria corruption epidemic. Let's listen to it together. You're still listening to Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps.
It plagues a number of countries, but some more than others. Among those at the top of the list is Nigeria. Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation. It used to be Africa's biggest economy as well, but it has now slipped to 4th place. This slide is often linked to President Bola Tinubu, his economic policies and his reputation for corruption. Tinubu recently featured on a list, the list of the most corrupt leaders in the world. The winner was former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. He was followed by Kenya's William Ruto. But Tinubu made the top 5. Now, I must clarify here that these rankings were sourced from the public. There wasn't a scientific formula involved. It was about public perception, and Tinubu is perceived to be extremely corrupt. So is his government. There are a number of reasons for this. Let me show you some of the latest examples, starting with the government. Nigeria has an anti-corruption agency. It is called the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. This is Nigeria's watchdog. Its job is to tackle corruption, and technically they are doing that, but at home. Let's show you today's major headline. The EFCC has detained 10 of its own over some missing items. This statement was put out by the agency. You'll notice that they said some operational items could not be accounted for. Okay, that sounds like some missing equipment. But then the Nigerian press dug a little deeper, and it turns out that the operational items were jewelry and cash worth $350,000 to $400,000. What operations were they pulling off with all that jewelry? 10 EFCC officers were detained in Lagos. They are apparently answering questions. That is all that the commission has revealed. They haven't told the public who the corrupt officers are. I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but the very same commission usually does not follow this. They happily share the names of under trials, but suddenly the agency is shy about revealing the names of its own officers. And this has been quite a bad week for them. They were forced to make another announcement on Monday, telling the people that 27 other officers had been dismissed for fraudulent activities and misconduct. This is not a great look for Nigeria's anti-graft watchdog, and definitely not a good look for the Tinubu government. Bola Tinubu is 72 years old. He's been around for a while. He's a seasoned politician. So as you would expect, he has been linked to a number of scandals over the decades. One of the worst involved drug dealing. Tinubu allegedly held money from drug trafficking in his accounts. This was according to the US Justice Department. Tinubu, of course, never accepted the charges, but he did pay out a settlement worth $460,000. Now, these charges are old. No final verdict was reached. So let's put them aside for now. After all, people can supposedly change. So what has Tinubu been up to recently since he became president? Well, he was caught up in a fake diploma scandal for a while. There were allegedly some errors in his college certificate. Okay, mistakes happen. Moving on. Then there was a major scandal involving a highway. Tinubu issued a $13 billion government contract to a company co-owned by his son. Tinubu is quite the caring father, apparently, but alas, most people do not see it that way. That is why he made it to the top 5 in the Corrupt Person of the Year award. The perception is quite prevalent, and reports say that he is quite vexed. He's even hired American lobbyists to clean up his image. He's reportedly paying them $2.7 million, though I wonder, is he paying from his own pocket or Nigeria's treasury? I suppose we'll find out eventually.